So to review, we'll go backwards. To feel anxious and your suffering goes up when you forget this knowledge, check. Makes sense. Why? Because when you remember this knowledge, you are cushioned. It is the false doer within you. Now you can say, is this the end of your individuality? No. Somebody may have really great individuality of how to knit. Somebody may have how to cook. Somebody may have how to be a spiritual teacher. Somebody may be how to be a good doctor. But even in those individual talents, individual gifts, individual enterprises, invite the cosmic intelligence. Why do it alone? Why? And the fame you get, and the wealth you get, and the name you get, and the thank yous you get, pass it on. You won't feel alone, you won't feel lonely, and you will feel blessed. So, before I conclude, would anybody like to share something or ask a question? You're most welcome to do that.
Acharya Shunya,
Arya?
Arya, you have your...
Thank you so much for the beautiful teaching. I can't help but ask, though, is it not an action of our ego that we actually would think that the divine works through us? I mean, or that the divine has a plan for us? Isn't that also placing myself in?
Yeah, so that's why, like I said, use your ego to cultivate sattva, cultivate jnanam, cultivate knowledge. Put the ego to use, and initially it will feel like work, and then this is the kind of knowledge that it uses the ego, but it doesn't feed the shadow of the ego. Do you see what I mean? And in shadow to self, in sovereign self, I don't remember, but in part 1 of the book, I've talked about the dual roles of the ego.
Mm-hmm.
One role of the ego is to take us towards samsara, and we are lost in the alleys of samsara. And the other role of the ego, the same ego, is to bring us home.
Yes.
But the ego that I am slaughtering today, mindfully, calling it a phantasmical shadow and a phantom I'm using those words to show the worthlessness of the agency that we put upon it. Make it responsible for our success and our security and everything. We don't align with a larger reality. Yeah.
And you're calling attention to the supreme intelligence of the human body. I mean, your example of the fingernail, we can see clearly that we can see the mirage of doership. I mean, I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that so much.
And to that extent, when we let go of the doership, I think we take over divineship, if I may just create that word.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We recognize
ego versions of yourself. Align up with electricity. Why hold on to a bulb?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, when I look at many leaders in the world, like the really noble politicians or the noble prime ministers or the noble social change makers, I always find that they are not doers. They are channeling their version of Ishvara through them. So at some level, we need that doer as Arya reminded us. And so we definitely don't want to give it the throne in our heart, and every time it cries, we think that's our life. We definitely don't want to believe only in its narrative. We don't. We definitely want to say, okay, take a break. I've seen through you. You have a job to do. You have to take me home to my own godly self. Get going now, right? That's what you want. That's how you want to talk to it. And when it does a good job, occasionally give it a pat on the back. Okay? All right. Good. That's a great question. Beautiful.
Sakshi, did you raise your hand? Yeah.
Jai Ma Shunya Ji. I really had to put down when you said worry takes you away from Ishvara. And I realized that that does happen to me when worry starts to come in. Now I know I have that, like you say, I can check that. I can instantly think that, why am I doing this? Why am I worrying about these things that maybe I have no control over or think I have control over? And so just to know that that is taking me away from Ishvara, that it brings a lot of peace and more balance. And I'd like to say that at times you have said that you should just repeat to yourself Om Tat Sat, and I do that, and I find that that happens many times when I wake up in the middle of the night, and there might be like a bad dream or just a thought that is like, why is that there? And then I just start doing the Om Tat Sat, and that instantly just clears the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Worry, comparison that leads to jealousy, discontentment due to too many desires, and desireship. These are all software programs run by the ego. Oh, it's just going to run it tonight after satsang. It's going to run it for you. And you're going to have to say, oh, I see that. And I offer that back to Ishvara. Go ahead and offer your anxiety back to Om Tat Sat. Doesn't matter what, to Jesus, to Allah. I welcome you to bring God of every color into our lives. Just bring Ishvara. Do not be alone, my children. Bring that greater reality. And Om Tat Sat is like a formula. It has no, ego doesn't understand Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Actually, you can think of some sound which your ego doesn't understand, and it will act like Om Tat Sat. Because anything it cannot understand, it cannot highlight into a problem for you. Okay. Yes. And with worry, sometimes I say, have a good cry like a baby in front of Ishvara. That is better, healthier. What a mess you have me in, Ishvara. What a darned mess this samsara is. Have a good cry and then have a happy life. That's it. All these software programs run by the ego are unnecessary. Or at least see through them. At some point, the ego realizes no use. This person is saturated with Ishvara, Atma, Jnanam. No point. Hmm? And then what happens? Where does it all go? It goes and finds someone else who's feeling vulnerable, because we are all sharing one cosmic mind. So also say in your prayers, may all beings be enlightened. Let us hope that the entire net becomes cleaned up. How's that? Yes? Yeah. So many blessings on 2-point bhakti journey. Okay to be surrendering everything, including your anxiety, to Ishvara, and yes to feeling some anxiety when you're missing Ishvara. I can see that our forum is going to light up with every time you miss Ishvara, but that is missing something good, and that is natural. You become comfortable with the divine net, with a cosmic net supporting you. It's like when you're wearing comfortable clothes more often than not, then wearing tight, skinny jeans are more difficult, isn't it? But if you were always wearing tight, skinny jeans, then you don't know any difference. So that's what it is. Being with this knowledge is like wearing nice, loose, comfortable clothes. All right. Okay, my children, take care. Such a joy to be with all of you. Take care.